And here we are in Riga for round 4. It's the first battle of our top 16. It will be James Deane having trouble with handling in his car, having subframe issues. He's sheared a bolt in the rear suspension and still beat his opponent in the top 32. He now goes up against Diogo Correia. And Diogo Correia is thinking, I beat this guy. I'm the man around here. Everybody's going to be talking about me for the next 6 months. So he can throw the absolute kitchen sink at James Deane here. And I'll tell you one thing, Correia may have an unusual engine setup with a Mercedes engine, but it has a lot of power and it has a lot of pace.
It certainly does, Dave, and it has exactly what he needs it to do. Here we go. They get the thumbs up all round. Car slide into gear and the lights illuminate. And there we go. Through the chicane comes James Deane. It will be Deane, the highest qualifier, to lead out Diogo Correia for a spot in the Grade 8 awaits. And look at this, a little bit of separation already. Diogo Correia shocked by the pace of Deane, but these shortcuts the circuit, looking for the side of that E92 BMW. Big transition back for Diogo Correia as he waits, but he's way up on the curb and he's made a big hash of that one. Deane goes up onto the wall in outside zone 6, absolutely pinned to the wall as Diogo Correia shortcuts the circuit to once again join Deane across the line.
I think it's just the pace on initiation. Correia had to initiate so later than Deane. I don't think Deane's happy with the handling in that car. If you watch the transition for Deane from outer zone here in 1 to 2, didn't look as comfortable, had to slow down. Look at the pace that Correia gets back on Deane, because Deane has to go on the front brakes to settle that car, and that's showing a little bit of weakness in that usual, you know, that armor that he has of being so consistent. I think Correia then thought this could happen and went too fast, got lost in the smoke, couldn't see the edge of the track and had to make a big dive at the end. But Correia's going way up onto the ground. He actually comes so far over the curb didn't even affect him. He went around the curb. But the judges are going to see that, I think, it's 2 wheels off the circuit, and he is going to get an incomplete on that.
Yeah, I agree there, Dave. And yeah, it looked like 2 wheels off the edge of the circuit. Obviously, those curbs and the white lines denoting the outside limits of the track. And Diogo Correia pulls back up to the start line to lead out James Deane. James Deane, I think, is going to play this one careful. I think he's going to take a leaf out of all the other guys' books and just stay back, just make the little dive where he needs to. James Deane, little thumbs up, sets the car into gear. Look, his eyes absolutely laser focused on that start line. Through the chicane comes Diogo Correia, down through the gears. And Deane knows nothing about Correia, absolutely nothing. But what he's going to know is he's got an incredible lead line. Correia right to the edge of the circuit on the transition, but look at this. James Deane waits, gives him some room. Diogo Correia fires on the outside edge, transitions back. Deane starts now to rein in the Portuguese driver as he transitions underneath the back end. Diogo Correia out of the outside zone now, works the back end of that BMW up into the wall, and Deane joins him.
I think that's a calculated move from James Deane. I think he's thinking in his head, stay close enough to force the issue, but right on the last corner where the risk is so low, go as close as you can, leave the exclamation mark for the judges, leave them with no question that you're going to go through to the top 8. From the off, he does back off a little bit. I think it's a clever move from Deane. He plays, you know, the devil's advocate here, just goes down the middle and does enough, but at the same time, he can't leave too much to the imagination with Diogo Correia. He's a very, very good driver, and that's a really good lead run from Correia, putting 2 wheels on that outer zone. And Correia coming through flying. When they watch Deane, at this point he goes, right, this is the time to make the move. You know, I've got the advantage from the first run, but I want to make sure I have it from the second. He goes up onto the door. But I would have to say that I don't think James Deane is as comfortable right now in that car. I think they're working on it in between battles to try and make it better. And they have got issues with the rear end and the handling of that car. So I think he's using his talent and his expertise. And of course, he is one of the best drivers in the world. I think he's leaning on that right now, not the machinery.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Dave. I think he's drawing everything he's had from experiences all around the world to gain positions forward, decisions in.
And it is going to be a top 8 for James Deane. He moves on to not as comfortable as he would have liked battles, but he's still there into the top 8. And, you know, he's going to have a very interesting battle up next, because he would go up against the winner of Conor Shanahan and Korpelinski. And I think if Conor Shanahan or Korpelinski are watching James Deane, he might not be a